Hello gamers, today we will be ranking the LMGs in Phantom Forces. Be aware, this is my opinion and you can disagree with it, but this is my ranking of the LMGs. Also, the Scar Hammer and L86 LSW have gotten nerfs, but I still think that they retain their spots. They don't really lose that much. Coming in at the number 11 spot, aka the last spot, is the MG36. This is a rank 33 gun, and honestly, it's pretty good with the 300 conversion, but without the 300 conversion, it can't even 3-hit in CQC, and it 5-hits in LRC. Basically just a really big extended mag for the G36 that makes the damage suck. However, with the 300 conversion, this thing can 3-hit, but not that far. Yeah, it has a pretty good reload for 100 rounds, but I think the other guns in this category just kind of go harder. Even with the conversion, this is just like, the conversion just makes this gun actually somewhat viable. Even with the conversion, it's still not as viable as the other one, sadly. But it does have like pretty good recoil control, and it can 3-hit in CQC with the 300 conversion. And it doesn't lose its 5-hit, however, it does do 20 damage instead of 23. What I think that they should have done is just buffed the gun by giving it a torso multiplier. And then maybe it could like 4-hit to the torso all ranges. Because the thing is, the gun is really bad in comparison to like the G36, which is like the exact same thing. But instead of having 100 rounds, it has like everything else is better. Next up anyways is the RPK-74. This is probably the worst RPK in my opinion. I really like it, maybe more than the RPK, but I could see a lot more reason to use the RPK over this gun. It does 36 to 24, so it can 4-hit very, very far. It can 2-hit to the head, and it has 650 RPM, 45 rounds, and it's pretty accurate. And I guess it's a little bit more accurate than the RPK, but overall I would say that the RPK, since it does way more damage, is just like, you may as well just go for it. Also, there's the fact that this thing sounds like a piece of garbage, and the RPK sounds really cool. But as you can see, it's decently accurate. Keep in mind, this is with like no loadout at all. It can be pretty accurate. Kind of just an extended mag upgrade for the AK-74 that also gives it more damage in CQC and in LRC, actually. Honestly, it's a pretty fun gun, but overall, I would say that the RPK is just like, maybe not necessarily like better in every way, since the RPK has a lot more recoil and less RPM, but I kind of like the RPK more. The RPK does 42 to 32. It doesn't have a torso multi like the AK-47 does, and it sounds like that. It has a little bit more recoil to it. And by a little bit, I mean like a lot more. Overall, I could see a reason for the RPK-74 to be better than the regular RPK, but in my opinion, I just like the RPK more. It also does 32 minimum damage, which is just like very high minimum damage. This thing fully attached would be a monster. It's more accurate than the AK-47, and other than the fact that it doesn't have a torso multi, it's pretty much better in every way. Very interesting. Or the same in every way. It does the same max damage. Also, this thing sounds like an absolute monster. I already said that, but I just gotta hammer that home. It sounds amazing. Next up, and this is going to be a controversial one, is the HK-21. It's controversial because some people are going to say that this is the best LMG in the entire game. And this is why I think it's not the best LMG in the entire game. This thing, with this loadout, it's like not technically the best loadout for it, but this is a fully attached one with a comp and a folding grip and a reflex sight and a green laser. So it should be at least pretty accurate compared to like the stock one, but no, it's not. The reason that this goes above the RPKs is that it can still 4-hit on ranges, and it has 100 rounds and shoots faster than them, but this thing is so inaccurate. Like what is this thing? This thing is so spray and pray. I don't like using it. It's not fun to use at all. So overall, I'm just gonna say, yeah, it's probably better than the RPK, since it has basically same hits to kill and has 100 rounds and more RPM. But I don't like it. I don't like using it, but I could see where you would think it's at least decently effective, because you can just spray for literal years. Next up on this list is another hot take, it's the M60. I would probably use this over the HK21. I mean, it does do like, it hits slightly harder, but this thing is a little bit inaccurate as well. However, it is way more accurate than the HK21. Yeah, it's got a long reload and whatnot, but it has 100 rounds. You can't argue that this thing is not at least decently powerful. It got a nerf, so it's not really as good, but I would definitely say it's better to use than the HK21. Again, this is going to be a weird one. Some people might say that this is the best LMG, but the MG3 KWS is just like so incredibly tedious to use that I've said this before. I don't like using it. Well, the only times that I really used it was during double XP. Last double XP, I used it. And people say that this thing has like high recoil and that you need to use like light bolt and muffler and oil filter or whatever. But this thing is very accurate. Like, this thing, the thing about it that makes me not think it's that good is that it can't 4-hit all ranges, and it has 1,000 RPM, but it only has a 50-round drum instead of the normal, like, big LMG's 100, and it shoots super fast at mag dumps, and the reload is really long. But don't use light bolt, because then this thing is like a worse HK21, so what's the point of doing that? Not light bolt, heavy bolt, my bad. Next up, we're getting to the really good ones, the Colt Lmg. The Colt Lmg is like my favorite LMG, at least, well, for a little bit it was. I don't know anymore. I still think that this is a really good gun. It does have a little bit of some like really annoying recoil. It has pretty good damage ranges, a 60-round mag with a quick reload, and it's pretty accurate. However, some of the other LMGs on this list are like incredibly accurate and can do more damage sometimes. So that's why I don't think that this one is like super crazy. However, if you're gonna go for an LMG and you just started playing, don't pre-buy an LMG, just use the Colt LMG, it's really good. So that was the number 5 spot. Now on to the number 4 spot. I know that this gun is really, really strong, and that's why I'm giving it number 4, but I don't really use this thing, so that's why it's not getting a super high spot. The RPK-12, I know, like, it doesn't look that accurate here, but when you have a fully attached one, it is incredibly accurate. You can put super armor piercing on it for like very little downside, so you have 3 studs of penetration. You can hyperburst this thing at 1,000 RPM very easily, like the AK-12BR, which I really like. And it does, I guess, alright minimum damage. The damage isn't too good, but it shoots fast, it has a lot of bullets, and it's very accurate. So that's why people say that this thing is great. It is very good. Like most guns in this game, you actually do need to have a loadout for this thing to be good. Yeah, this guy's aimbotting too? I don't know, maybe he wasn't, but that was really weird aim. I'll play a replay of that. That was weird aim.
Well, I really wonder if he was aimbotting. Yeah, that looks really normal. I think he's fine.
But coming in at the number 3 spot, I do have a bit of a cringe loadout on this. This is the AUG hbar. This is actually my most kills gun. There was a bug a long time ago where you could actually get any gun in the game for free, and it would actually delete the gun from your inventory if you left. But for some reason, I don't know if I just did the bug wrong and accidentally just bought this gun early. I bought this gun early, even though it's like a really low unlock rank. I accidentally bought it early, and I don't know, man. I stuck with it. I have nearly 4K kills on this thing. I have a lot of the ammo types and stuff. I don't know why I'm using AP. I shouldn't use AP. It used to be kind of better than the Scar hammer, but then it got a recoil buff, which doesn't make it like too bad. It just makes it a little bit more kick. So it just made it slightly worse than the Scar hammer, because yeah, it doesn't have the same ability to, I guess, have a bigger mag is the only thing, really. But it had 35 max damage. But yeah, this thing just, dude, it kills people so well. Now we're on to the number 2 spot. You probably guessed it, it's the Scar hammer, which I only have like 500 less kills on the Scar hammer now than I do on the hbar. I think that right now it's just like a gun that I don't really go off with as well as I used to. Oh, that looks sus. Yeah, but this thing has very little recoil. I don't know if I should use alt aim on these things, because like I feel like I should actually just use like a coyote or something. Very little recoil, basically just a better version of the AUG hbar now that the AUG hbar doesn't have laser recoil like it used to. So yeah, before we get on to the number 1, I just want to go through and just tell you what my ranking was with the numbers in them, just so you guys know. At number 11 was the MG36. At number 10 was the RPK74. At number 9 was the RPK. At number 8 was the HK21. At number 7 was the M60. At number 6 was the MG3K. At number 5 was the Colt Lmg. At number 4 was the RPK12. At number 3 was the AUG hbar. At number 2 was the Scar hamr. And the number 1 pick is gotta go to the L86 LSW. I was actually considering, I put Scar hamr above this gun before, but then I switched it to the L86. You cannot argue with the absolute sheer amount of just killing potential that the L86 has. If you want to, you can put a 223 on this thing and make it like a different Scar hamr, but maybe a worse Scar hamr. I don't know. It depends on who you ask. The default ammo though, it is just next level accurate. It is so incredibly accurate. It's insane. It's actually insane. You probably think, oh well, there's a lot of camera kick. It's because I'm using comp folding, and you could use muzzle brake, and then you'd have like less camera kick. But let me just tell you a little secret. That's actually camera kick. This thing is very accurate, and it has 2,800 studs a second muzzle velocity. The only big thing is that it has camera kick, but that's not actually really its recoil. It's not actually as inaccurate as you think it is. That's just, holy, this guy's, oh, it's Lmg. Good job with those shots, Lmg, by the way, if you're watching this. What? I thought that guy was dead. Okay, I hit him for like 99. As it currently stands, this is the best one. However, that could change. But right now, holy, this thing is a banging gun. I made a video on it. It's called How to Use the Earthquake. You might have seen it because it's the video that's like on the front of my channel right now. Yeah, as you can see, I'm literally running out of reserve, but I'm going 10-0 on Mirage with this thing. It can't be bad. Look at this accuracy. This thing is insane, dude. Okay, let's see if, is this the Remington with, oh, yes. Let's see if I can snipe with the Remington. No. I did not hit that. I did not hit that. SKS, intervention, whatever. I guess I'm going to end off the video here. L86, kind of out of bullets now. I'm hoping that these, like, videos where I rank guns don't make people angry. Because they're not supposed to, like, you know, it's not objective. It's definitely my opinion on a lot of these. And some people will say, like, HK21 best LMG. In my opinion, that's not true at all. But you can have your opinion. So that's my opinion, man. Holy, this thing is loud, though. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, this is my opinion. But if you enjoyed, please drop a like and sub. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.